the right foot. See if they can get thing on. You are going to see Hip on the Reyna, which you've seen him do a couple of times before. Had a couple of really good performances in the Vitality Open on Split, playing Reyna in particular. So it looks like we got a little bit of a mid-push starting out for the pistol round here, Matt.
Couple of peeks going back over towards mid. Looks like that's going to be the aggression point that we're seeing coming out from the attackers. Screen kind of glancing around on what's going on next to him right now. See a little bit of utility being used by Raze, trying to see if maybe it can connect over with Bot as it's trying to get a little bit more information. Lucker's then going to go ahead and throw out the slow to get a little bit more slow and placement off of it, but not a lot of aggression coming off on that lower point towards B. It's all over towards the mid right now as it's going firmly in fish123's control.
Actually, looking like this is going to stack over towards ropes here, and NIP do have 3 players set up over towards A. Actually, Scream's going to eat a lot of that paint shell, but still finds the kill onto Fearoth. He's done fantastically well there. Going to get the heal to get himself back up. Now you can see actually NIP holding strong with this 3-man defense over on A, and they're going to get the audio cue here with 1 player playing in hell. They're going to get this information nice and early. Hip here, ready to hold down the angle to heaven. Rhyme's actually going to find Soulcast on the way in. Now, actually, Kriya's going to find as well. Kriya's going to find 2. He's going to shut down Eccles and Link, and that just puts Cryptics in an awkward situation here. Link coming all the way round to flank from screens, but it's a little bit too late as Rhyme will find Cryptics and stop this push.
Scream still playing up around heaven, trying to find an angle for it, not going to be able to connect with anything, so Ninjas and Pyjamas take the very first round. Uphill battle is going to start for fish123, as now they're going to have to start playing a little bit of an economy game.
Really, really good turnaround again. You can see just Nip just happily holding 3 over as soon as the push through B Heaven doesn't come. They don't invest anybody over into that rotation, and I mean, Kriya doing absolutely fantastic work from hell there, but on the back of 3 kills in the pistol round for Rhyme.
A lot of the aggression came out from the push back over towards mid. Looks like they're eyeing back that direction yet again, sitting back onto 2 points, thinking maybe they can set up some type of crossfire off the side. Fearoth does manage to spot 1, steps back and away from it. Looks like contemplating throwing out the slow orb as well, but got to be careful. Going to get spotted out. Link plays this one aggressive. You can see Fearoth just spraying back over into the dark cover, trying to see if maybe he can connect with anything. Got to be very cautious now. Does manage to connect with some good shots back over towards Link. Aggression now starting to come out back over around ropes. You can see repositions now coming out from Kree. See if maybe he can get some type of angle to work with, but it's going to be fish123 stepping back out and away from mid, moving back towards B.
And actually, you see them pushing over just the trap wires to kind of hold down. Rhyme is over in towards heaven here. Dark cover is going to cut off his sight lines. They're going to get sight control. 1 trap wire does get activated. Scream will fall on the back of that. Actually, Cryptic's good for the trade up towards Rafters. Now, Spike will go down, and actually he's going to find his 3rd kill with the paint shells. Eccles will fall now. Fearoth chucking out a couple of blast packs, and there you go. Soulcast down to a lick of HP. Fantastic retake there. But again, just shutting down the pistols of fish123 and unable to get that round on the board, but a good effort nonetheless.
Yeah, I like to play on the reposition, trying to see if they can maybe bait back around the angle, sneak back into B after doing a little bit of aggression towards the midpoint. Do manage to at least get in and get the plant off. Now the question comes back in, how are we going to see them play this one out? Looks like they're doing a little bit of a split back over towards it. Fish123 sending 3 back over towards sidelines, back towards B, 2 back over towards A. Only 1 glancing back over towards mid at the time, as a lot of the defense is stacking back over towards mid yet again.
I will kill you.
Getting ready to start the round off. Let's see, got a dark cover starting to make its way through off of this one. Doing a little bit of peek off to the side of it. Stepping back away. Just a little bit of exchange of a firefight, nothing too heavy or hot happening just yet, as it's still going to be Ninjas and Pyjamas holding up a nice bit of defense, slowing down the aggression that fish123 is trying to bring.
Yeah, actually, Rhyme got himself tucked inside the cage there. Might see actually a counter wall coming out from Lucker, looking to get a little bit aggressive over towards B lane. And actually, Showstopper going to get invested here. Soulcast not able to shut down Fearoth before he gets the rocket off. And now we got Link stuck over on backside. He's going to get picked up by Rhyme. And they do hold steady, but Spike has made its way all the way towards mid here, and just 1 player, Kriya, down, tucked in the corner of a site, and this rotation through ropes could be huge for fish123 here.
I like the play off of it, use the bait, but you can see the read on Ninja Pyjamas' side already coming back over towards A, figuring that this is going to go down. Fearoth trying to set up paint, does manage to connect on a shot. Good shots coming up from a hip, looking back over towards Cryptix to take him down. Scream still playing back over next to Ramp, trying to spot one, takes a couple of shots, doesn't connect with enough, and that's going to be a flawless victory coming up for Ninjas and Pyjamas to push us up into a 3-0.
Yeah, good stuff from there. Again, the rotation from hip all the way through defensive spawn. Really, really good stuff, and then actually timed perfectly for the contact on Heaven. So, NIP getting the first 3 rounds on the board, pretty big. And again, they want to have a good start to this half, and hopefully stop fish123 from building any momentum, stringing some rounds together.
See economy back over towards fish123, still relying mostly on pistols at this point. Aggression coming back over towards mid yet again. It's going to be Fearoth looking back down towards it. It's going to be Lucker as well. Spots out one, tries to go for a couple of shots. Slow Orb does come out. Got to be careful as the breach starting to get a little bit of connection on the attacking side. Got to be cautious off of this. Fearoth trying to set up everything, throws out the paint shell yet again, just going to retreat back off of it as now Lucker's trying to figure out how he wants to handle what's going on in front of him. Goes ahead and throws down the wall as everybody is coming in for fish123 right off to the side of this wall. Is going to go down. Spray is going to come out. Lucker does manage to connect with one of them, but Soulcast back on the other side, but Fearoth managed to pick up one as well. Reposition coming back over towards Heaven from the defense, but it looks like it could be eyeing back towards the other side. As you can see, everybody from fish123 is now starting to do an extension back over towards mid, looking towards that Heaven point, but not quite moving there yet.
You can see now trying to hold through Heaven, and again Spike's going to make his way through ropes. That trap wire again gives the information over so early, and there you go. Eccle's going to have to pop it. Paranoia gets sent through to the defensive spawn. Rhyme's going to peek out. The trade's good from Cryptic, so Hip sent the Leer into Heaven but didn't peek off of it, and now you can see both players down to half HP. They're going to make their way over towards site in a 2v3 situation now. So Spike probably going to go down. 20 seconds left on the clock, and a difficult retake here. It's always rough to retake a site, but both players stacked up on site itself will make it difficult to hold as well.
Got to be very careful. As you can see, the approach now starting to come down, moving away from Heaven. No inherent rush coming out of Ninjas and Pyjamas at this point. Cryptic's trying to play off the point. We're trying to get a little bit of utility out. Does spot out one. Cryptic comes up big. Kree goes down off of this. Now let's see how the reposition comes out off of another pickup coming up. While just standing right on top of the Spike, it's going to be Hip that comes around the side of it. Does manage to connect with one of them, but now it's caught up into a 1v1. Peek on both sides. Weapons are going to favor Hip, and he's going to be able to pick it up. And now it goes for the defuse.
Yeah, unfortunate for Scream there, but I mean, a really, really impressive post-plant hold from fish123. And Hip just managing to clutch up. And again, it's on this map more so than any others. We see Hip come up clutch time and time again. Like I said, he had a really, really fantastic showing on Rainer in particular, on Split during the Vitality Open. And again, already making a statement at the start of this map. But 4th round on the board. Again, it was a save round for fish123. I think a couple of pistols were invested, but not the worst result for an eco round, you've got to argue. And now we're going to come back into a full buy setup from both teams.
It did manage to inflict some damage on the economy, as a lot of members for Ninjas and Pyjamas did go down. Lucker still eating a little bit of utility coming out from that breach. Looking off the side, takes the shot, does not connect. It's going to be Eccles this time coming up with the operator, going for peek around the side of it. It's going to be Fearoth that takes down Link. Got to be cautious on it, makes the switch back over towards the operator himself, trying to see if maybe he can get the type of shot onto it. Retreating back, trying to lean into the crossfire, as there is Cypher playing off on the other point. Or actually, I believe it's the Omen that's playing on the other point from this. Cypher's right next to him. Hip still looking back over towards tunnel right now. Is not any big rush. Everybody on fish123 starting to reposition back out away from mid. Looking back maybe towards B.
Yeah, and actually, Soulcast going to look for some information with the Owl drone pushing through B lane. Nobody on site initially. Both players stacked up towards Heaven, so they are ready to hold this down. Fearoth or the operator is a fantastic spot to play the operator. Again, you get that contact through. Paranoia is going to get sent through. Dark cover covering off Heaven right now. So Fearoth got a tall order, and actually Echo is going to find it through the edge of the dark cover. Bycam going to give the information the two have crossed over. A Shrouded Step going to send Korea down towards Hell, but Spike will get planted on default. And this is a good setup so far for fish123.
Nice control coming out from them. Good play with the operator coming out from Eccles, buying more space. Scream manages to pick up Korea. Now it's turning fairly problematic for Ninjas and Pyjamas. They've got the 4-0 lead right now, but it's feeling like fish123 might be able to pick up this round. And I believe that Ninja and Pyjamas have the same read on the situation, instead opting to step away. Just going to go ahead and try to go for a save of weapon.
And actually, that really unfortunate. Scream sitting right in the middle of the open there, caught that last tag from the recon dart, and unfortunately Korea loses his life after Shrouded stepped down to hell. But it's a nice reposition, but again the recon dart just too strong. The Scream picks himself up a freebie through there. I think it was either a cage or the dart cover that Korea had put down, but that will be the first round on the board for fish123, and a big one nonetheless. Again, it came down. First blood goes over to Eccles there with the operator in mid. Lucker doing what he does best, wide swinging out of that male position, but unfortunately going in the favor of Eccles this time around. Now let's see if they can build anything off that map.
Eccles is just so damn good. Dual operators popping off for Ninjas and Pyjamas right now. They want to firmly defend this and punish anybody that approaches into their line of sight. Lurker looking back down towards mid, where we've been seeing a lot of the fight happen. Shot goes a little bit wide, so repositions back away from this one. Finally getting to step away from the breach. Not going to get hit with a concussion based off of that one, but look at Hip's positioning. Right on the other side of him is an enemy. Has a good read on what's going to happen. Information's getting fed over, and it's going to be Kree that does manage to connect onto Eccles, and that is huge for them. We've been seeing him be a major component of how anytime fish123 pulls anything together, it's a lot of times off of Eccles' performance.
Yeah, actually, again, this is a map heavily that relies on that first blood battle, as Link will find Kree over at backside on B. You see 3 players stacked up around ropes here, and Scream going to find Fearoth actually in ropes, and Hip now just kind of playing in this box position again. He has to rely on a teammate baiting for him here. Again, he can just counter peek from that spot. Not really good for him to take first contact. Lick actually going to get Eccles back on his feet. Ryan finds Screamy, but Link again good for the trade, and Hip still just buying time over in the spot. And I don't think they're going to check it because of all this contact here. He does swing out. Link will find him finally. Third on the round for him, and that will be a second round on the board.
Always coming back towards the recommitment towards mid. Good performance coming out 4-2 now, as we've been talking about. A lot of our gameplay inside of the series has been based on defense, seeing a much closer series so far. While we did see an early lead come back over towards Ninjas and Pyjamas, starting to see a little bit of cracks in the defensive line as fish123 is starting to string something together.
And let's see now, again in a position where I'm not sure if NIP are going to be able to full invest back into this, but 2 rounds in a row. It's going to mean, actually, yeah, we've got a Judge on the board. We've got a Stinger, a couple of Phantoms, and an Operator. So still a decent buy for NIP. Again, if they can just play around those big weapons, maybe make an aggressive play off the SMG or the Judge. But we will have to wait and see, as we do have a bit of an A push coming out here. Rhyme actually going to find Cryptics through the one-way cage. Tripwire gets activated. Actually, Fearoth's going to find the second as well. The counter peek really, really good there. Spike actually falling over on the entrance to site. Rhyme going to jump up now, find Eccles. The neural theft gets invested. Last player going to get revealed, and Showstopper for good measure. You see now, not an awful lot Screamy can do there. He does get the kill onto Fearoth, but the rocket too strong.
Nothing worse than being the last person alive and seeing a showstopper come your way. You know you're in a world of hurt then. All right, 5-2 sitting at the score line. Getting a little bit more back over is going to be Ninjas and Pyjamas. Seeing a little bit more aggression and specifically very heavy pushes all together inside that last round coming out from fish123, all pushing along the same point very quickly. This time, opting to separate out just a touch more. A lot of fish123's plays have been based around claiming mid or fighting around mid. This time around, looks like maybe they're committing back over towards the 3 as utility is now starting to come out, start to deny a little bit of vision on both sides, and it's all going to be about Hip still holding down this counterpoint at mid.
Actually, again, split so often comes down to it now, especially with the changes. Oh, unfortunate weapon change time there for Fearoth. The timing is dreadful for him. Scream going to try and flashpoint up ramp here. Try and get a little entry, but it's just going to force Fearoth away from the angle. But just coming back now. Obviously, the emphasis on mid again here. With the changes to split, it makes obviously that kind of split through garage and B heaven so viable now. And that kind of puts Hip and Lucker in those really, really clutch positions in terms of holding down, controlling that area. Hip actually going to get found by Link. No counter peek coming out from Lucka, and that's a rare mistake from these guys. You know how solid Lucka can be from this position. But Hip will lose his life untraded. And that now going to call out a little bit of a rotation, Matt.
Like the reposition coming out from Lucka, realizing the fact that he might find himself a little bit at a disadvantage as multiple members could approach onto that angle. Stepping back and away instead, trying to get range to work with. A lot of the defense playing back towards the spawn sides, trying to make sure that they get nice sight lines to work with all of the range that they have stacked up. Good peek around the side of it. Lucka just leans off to the side, tries to go for the shot onto one of them. Screaming gets returned, shot back over. Scream's got to be careful. Good pickup yet again by Lucka, but finally gets spotted out. It's going to be Eccles that does manage to take him down. Everybody's made the push back over towards B. Quick spike plant's going to be coming through. Got to be cautious as Fearoth does step up, take down Eccles. Might give him some room to work with, as now Heaven is firmly in control of Ninjas in Pyjamas. Another pickup coming up for Rhyme. Can we see the defense coming out from the Cypher? And no, it's going to be Cryptics going down. The fuse going to come through. That's going to push us up to 6-2.
So unfortunate there for Eccles. The barrel of the operator feels like it's 18 feet long at times. They're just sticking out, giving away his position there. So a freebie for Fearoth, but really, really good retake from NIP there. And I mean, fish123 just struggling in a post-plant situation, which we haven't seen, to be honest. And again, you know, right off ascent in terms of the first half score, but I mean, Haven, they just look so strong post-plant, and right there, it's just a couple of weird angles. Scream gets surprised by the swing out on Rafters. I think if he plays tight to the pillar there, maybe he doesn't go down first and force an awkward aim battle, but really, really good retake nonetheless.
It's like a little bit more aggression going back over towards mid. No surprise at all, but a couple of little peeks off to the side of it. Lucka retreating back. Looks like he's finally got a read on what's happening every single time with the breach use coming into play. Throwing up the wall to buy out just a little bit more time and space. Instantly has a section of it get knocked out. Lucka playing for patience right now. Doesn't have anybody that's holding down the crossfire for him just quite yet off the rope side of this. So Lucker's going to retreat back and away. As you can see, it is going to be the dark cover that comes into play. And yet again, it's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas playing back towards spawn, trying to use sight lines as much as they can to their advantage.
Again, first blood going in favor of NIP. This has been kind of the story of the last two maps, to be honest with you now. Again, this default setup, as soon as that one person on one side of the map gets picked off and there's no counter push, no trade, the information gets relayed to the defenders. And you can see now 3 members stacked over towards A, expecting this push on the back of that death in B garage. Now Spike going to slowly make its way through sewers, and probably going to be a heavy ramp push here, but Eccles has got himself inside ropes.
Eccles having a different angle than the rest of the team could be huge, depending on how fish123 plays this one out. Cage is getting activated off towards the side, up towards Heaven, and we got to keep an eye on how Eccles is wanting to play this one. Push coming up from fish123, trying to make their way down the hallway right now, trying to find some type of sightline on anybody, but it's going to be Hip that picks up the first one. Looks back up, picks up Eccles as well. It is just a full-on onslaught coming through here as Ninjas in Pyjamas inflicts a lot of wounds. There's a couple of kills back up for fish123, but the cost was pretty big as now we shift over to 7-2.
I mean, a fantastic hold there over towards A. I said, obviously, the stack of 3 players. And again, when the attackers have to play favorable trades there, it's a really difficult situation to be in it. But the defense holding absolutely perfectly, holding really, really strong. And now I'm a little bit worried if I'm a fish123 fan. You can see a bit of a broken buy coming out. Scream probably going to force up with... I was going to say force up with a Bulldog, but he's actually going to opt for a Ghost, it looks like. A Ghost in full armor. And Hip now, again, this is confidence now. Lucka draws first blood. Again, Soulcast will fall in Garage. The double op set up over towards B. It's so strong sometimes. You can go for that early pick. As soon as you get the value off it, you back up. Korea going to smoke off ropes here as Eccles tries to find something through. This is interesting.
A very quick push coming out from fish123. It did cost them 1 member on their approach, but they do manage to get control back over mid, so can kind of rotate around off of their whims at the time. Looks like they're still eyeing back around over towards ropes. Got to be careful off of this one. Eccles glancing back down. Gonna jump down right on top of Korea's aggressive play. Gonna go ahead and pick up a kill yet again. And now it looks like A is not going to be a way that they can manage to push through this one, as they don't have a lot of angles to work with. Maybe they are regrouping. It feels like maybe they have the opportunity to go back that direction, but that's where the numbers are not inside their favor right now. Well, I say that, Zraze did reposition back over towards B.
There you go. Revive invested. Rolling Thunder going to give them the signal to go through heaven. Korea actually caught on the edge of that. Can he get into this corner just in time? The aftershock is not good. He's going to be able to hold down here. And actually, fish123 have no idea that he's in actually fault line going to get sent through all the way to defensive spawn. And the paranoia for good measure. But Hip finds Link on the opening. Eccles will trade out onto Korea. But Fearoth will find one here. 3 players stacked up next to each other. Side control goes over to fish123. Revive will get Korea back on his feet. And that's now a 5v2 situation. Really tough situation right now.
Playing back around the backside of A right now. Got the walls to work with, trying to see if maybe they can use that towards their advantage. Stepping back away from it, Scream goes down very quickly, and it's going to be a follow-up from Rhyme up on top from Heaven to take him down. That's going to shift us back over into an 8-2 positioning right now, so good plays coming up from Ninjas and Pyjamas. fish123 has been making them work for it, but it has just not been going in their favor.
It's costing them so much on the way in that they can't get to a strong post-plant position again there. They had side control, but they took too much damage. Too much damage coming through Heaven. And ultimately it came down to, I mean, once the revive pops up there, you got to argue it's already in the bag. But Nip, again, just timing that retake absolutely perfectly. They're happy to give up site control. They stack up and they just swarm the site.
Get the numbers back into their advantage. Well, even stronger numbers, I should say, back in towards their advantage. Back on the side of it's going to be Fearoth with a slight little bit of a reposition off of this one. So let's see how he goes for the play. Instead, playing on Rope side is where we've been seeing playing back over towards B Heaven side. Meanwhile, we're going to see a continued push as 3 members looking back over towards mid from fish123. A little bit of extension coming out. Notice the fact that the Cypher is starting to move very far back out from B, so maybe he can catch anybody on rotation. Got to be very careful off of this one, but it is going to be mid control going back over towards fish123. Hasn't really spotted anybody just quite yet. Has to be very careful on this one as Fearoth is playing back behind this one. This could be big depending on how this one bounces back around. Lucker manages to pick up one off the side of it. Rhyme is very aware that he has somebody right over here next to him. Goes for the spray onto it, but doesn't connect. It's going to be Cryptic, so does manage to open up the door. Trying to get a little bit more information back over for his teammates. That's going to be Cypher throwing out the neural theft. Going to feed that information back over. Let's see what we can get fish123 out of this one.
Again, Lucker with the first blood in Garage again onto Soulcast. You've got to argue. I mean, Nip are playing absolutely fantastically right now, but that is such a huge factor towards it. Fearoth's going to find Cryptics with the flick inside. Showstopper gets invested as well, but Lucker will find his second. This is just, I mean, this is tragic to watch for fish123 right now. They're just getting locked out at every single entry.
Yeah, Eccles just getting away from point right now, looking back all the way at Defender's spawn right now. On a little bit of a creep mission. Looks like he's got to be careful as he might actually get spotted out. And yep, it's going to be Hip that spots him as well. Then there was one. It's just going to be Scream looking to see if maybe he can inflict a little bit of economic damage back over towards the other side, but it's going to be multiple people pushing back over. Just 3 seconds left trying to just survive this one out and keep economy for himself, it looks like. Defenders do take that one, and now it is 9 versus 2.
I mean, this is scary. Actually, Scream going to get picked up in ropes just to add salt in the wound there. Can't keep that weapon on the board. And now, again, the economy position. And when you talk about damage control and getting as many rounds, split is one where, you know, if you don't have a good attack in half, it's so hard to come back from, especially if you then lose the pistol in the second half. But you'll see a force-up of light armors and bulldogs, fish123, and now, I mean, this is an absolutely huge round for me. fish123 absolutely need to get this on if they want any chance of coming back on the defensive side.
Gotta be careful with it. Lucker has been putting in a lot of performance off to the side as well as Fearoth, trying to make sure that they get a lot of damage off and just spray into the darkness, see if maybe you can hit something. Gotta step back away from this one. Aggressive push coming back out. Gotta be careful off of it. Eccles does go down off of that, and that is gonna be dangerously bad coming up from fish123 now, as they do have mid control, but it's cost them quite a bit.
I mean, that's a frustration push right there from Eccles. Pushed right on top of the paint shells. I mean, pushing Raze in a position like ropes, it's so confined. Utility can do so much damage. You've got to say that's a bit of a frustration push coming out from Eccles, but push now coming through Mail. Link's going to swing on the back of the fault line from Scream. And actually, Lucker's still holding there with the operator. Actually goes for a cheeky little peek after the slow drops. Now you see if they can get anything going on B side. Korea will fall. Hunter's Fury invested onto default. And actually, Hip will get picked up on the way in. So this is looking good right now.
Looks like fish123 will not go silently into the night. Repositions coming out from the other side of it. It's going to be Rhyme running over all by his lonesome, playing this fairly aggressive, seeing if maybe he can do a little bit more damage to him, pick up a kill or two, but not going to get anything out of it. Scream managed to pick him up and a thrifty round win. So now at 9-3. We talk a lot about defender-sided maps, and it looks like we've got a lot of defense that's coming through off of this one. But the question comes into play. A 9-3 scoreline, even on defense, is very hard to overcome for fish123, as we saw inside that last round. They are going to have their work cut out for them.
I mean, it's definitely a tall order, but I mean, you got to argue that even with the recent changes, Split still arguably a defensive side. Obviously, I mean, coming up to this with minimal kind of results from this roster, they're still a strong side on Split. They have a relatively good win rate. But, I mean, coming into any game in the second half being down 9-3 is not an ideal scenario. So we're going to have to...
Every single round matters now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you got to come back to the point I made earlier. They're kind of allowed 2 mistakes, but the pistol round can't be one of them in my eyes.
Yeah, you can't give over the economy in those early positions. Play it a little bit slower, play it with a little bit more control, not even opting into a firm mid defense, as we saw that was very big coming out from NIP this time around. Instead, it's just going to be Link playing it back, trying to see if he can slow them down. Does get out the slow orb as he retreats from position, feeding information over. Got to be very careful based off of this one. Big shot's going to be coming out. Soulcast managed to take down one, but Fearoth managed to get one as well. Link managed to follow it up, and it is just a quick back and forth exchange, moving into a 3v3 on both sides. But with this, you can see position has gone back over towards B, and Ninjas in Pyjamas do manage to get control over site and get the plant down.
Yeah, 2-for-2 trade on the way in. Spike will go down, and now a tricky retake, especially considering there is a mid lurk as well. And actually, Korea potentially a huge spoiler factor in this one. Lucker's actually going to find Link on the way in, and there you go. Korea will sneak up at the right timing as soon as the attention is diverted, and this is... I mean, this is a seriously bad situation for fish123 to be in. They will fall, and actually there's 10 rounds on the board for NIP, and now we're in a very, very weird situation. The pistol round going over to Nip has got to be a huge tilter for fish123.
Yeah, you got to keep the mindset together because it is now a significant uphill battle. It's a Herculean task to make this comeback, but we have seen step up time and time again. I know there's a lot of fish123 fans out there. Let's see if they can manage to get this defense off, but a lot of the defense spread back over towards mid this time around, and everybody from Ninja in Pyjamas making the push back over towards A. It's kind of one of the weaker points that we're looking at. A little bit of a peek comes out the side. Spray comes through, and that's going to be Eccles going down first inside of this one. Numbers now in the favor in this push back over. Big play comes out of Cryptics, hits a nice headshot onto this one, buys a little bit more time and space for the reposition for the rest of his team, as well as getting information, feeding that back over. Can Cryptics get another shot off of this? Can he turn the tide? Every single time they take them down, it puts the economy just a little bit more into their favor to where it's not such a big problem. Ramp's now starting to get claimed off to the side of it, playing back behind it. You can see it's going to be Breach playing closer towards spawn side. How are we going to see the reposition coming through, as it looks like Ninja Pyjamas have a read that it's not the play, and now making their way back towards... And
actually, Link's managed to tuck himself away in Sushi, and this Suez rotation could be the demise of NIP in here. Link needs to play time on it, though. He's going to catch the information, but he gets spotted out there. Slow orb going to come down, but you can see just going to get spammed away in the corner. The wallbang comes through. Now Soulcast needs to find something here on this mail cross if they want to turn this around. And actually, NIP going to opt to rotate back towards Suez here. And they're walking, so Soulcast is going to have, I mean, he's going to be able to relay the information they haven't rotated here, but everybody, this has drawn everybody off A site. Scream all the way over on B now, and actually, A site is going to go over to them for free.
The mind games coming in big effect now. Soulcast up in heaven. Sees that everything's going on. Got to be very careful as he's making his push back over the side. Not going to have any line of sight back down. Just praying that he can get something with it. Trying to get the shock dart back over towards the spike. Does go down. How Soulcast wanting to play this one. Reinforcements have now firmly regrouped back over towards spawn side. Looking back over. It's going to be Cryptics. Getting a slow creep off to the side. But there's a lot of people back over towards A. This is going to be a very difficult retake coming through. Gets a little bit of information to work with. Cryptics now checking every single corner, assuming that there could be an enemy behind it. Slowly, steadily creeping his way up. Got to go for the peek off to the side of it. Not going to connect. 2 quick kills coming back over for NIP, but Scream tries to take it on. Not going to get it, and it's going to be the attackers getting that one. Ninjas in Pyjamas moving up to 11-3.
And again, a big win for an IP. This is now again just a terrible situation to be in when you're down on this scoreline, and then you have kind of the restraints of your economy as well. Backs against the wall for fish123, but NIP are just playing. They're playing so well right now. They're so composed. They're kind of playing individually off there and kind of not exploding off of these individual picks or kills going over in their favor. But again, just the double rotate back to A there. You can see how much fish123 kind of got outplayed with that rotation.
It feels like one team is playing with confidence and the other team is playing for damage control as much as humanly possible. Look at the aggression back over towards mid. They know that they have the tools to work with. A little bit of vision is going to pop up. Soulcast at least going to be aware that somebody's back over next to him. Mid control and back over towards B. Got to be careful. Looks like that's going to be the push starting to come back through as Kree does manage to find himself a little bit of an opening to work with. Going to go ahead and take down the wall. Let's see how we see the push come back over from NIP as Soulcast looks like he's going to start getting a little bit more aggressive with his positioning. Looks off in this wrong angle at the wrong time. Hip steps up, picks up Soulcast, picks up Scream as well. Another is going to go ahead and fall, and it is just dominoes collapsing as one into another. Fish123 has nowhere to go, trying to go for a touch of a peek. Cryptics at least manages to pick up one.
Now, I mean, it's just so clinical right now from NIP. Spike's going to go down. Cryptics now with a Phantom, but finds himself in a 1v4 situation. And yeah, Hip's going to close that one out. And I mean, even there, if fish123 win that round, they kept 4 alive from the previous. They're going to keep 4 alive from this. They've got the money rolling. It's such a difficult position to be in.
Well, at this point, Ninjas and Pyjamas have ultimates to work with. They've got economy in their favor. Curious to see how fish123 might try to go for defense on this one. But we talked about a Herculean task beforehand. They can't drop anything else as we are in match point. Ninja and Pyjamas have so much control back over towards mid repeatedly every single time they go onto the attack. We were talking about defender sides and attacker sides. It looks like no matter where we're seeing NIP play this, they're getting control back over towards split. Priya starting to step forward, aware of the positioning coming out in front of him, trying to get a little bit more information. Soulcast at least manages to spot 3, doesn't go down for the exchange. Repositions now starting to come out for fish123. Can they find some type of opening knock, some type of kill to get something in their favor? And it's going to be Hip picking up Link. That is not the way they want to start this one off. Soulcast at least manages to pick up one, goes for the spray off to the side of it, not going to be able to pick up another one. Goal actually does manage to do a little bit of exchange back over there. So now Cryptic's playing all by himself. Got to figure out how he's going to go for the play off of this. Got to be careful as he's the sole defender back towards mid. Only one player for fish123 playing each really important defensive point.
Yeah, she's Scream going to try and look down here. You can see the jump peak coming out, but he's already got teammates backup coming up here. Scream's going to get traded out by Fearoth, and now you got to call this. The end is nigh for fish123 here. Cryptic's going to pick up this position on ramp. He's going to take a peek, but Lucker will find him. And that just puts our boy Eccles in a 1v3 situation. Backs against the wall. He's got to make something happen here if they want to keep their hopes alive.
All right, Eccles, it's all on to you. You are the last guy up. Numbers are against you. We've seen you manage to rack up a massive kills in a round before. You are in a disadvantaged position. The spike is now planted. You know where everybody's going to be formed up. He's got a wall that's in front of him that's going to stall it out, but he's at least going to use it for a little bit of information. As Eccles got in the tank here, trying to see if maybe he can get a little bit of vision and a reposition out. Spray is going to come through. Lucker knows exactly what's going down inside of that one, and there we go. Ninjas and Pyjamas takes the map and takes the series.
Well, a fantastic performance from an IP to bounce back off that first map. And again,